Guys, we are facing incredibly turmoil times. First of all, my heart goes out to everybody in Ukraine. This is terrible, terrible what Russia's doing. And if you're in crypto or traditional markets, there's no doubt you are feeling max pain right now, lots of fear, and of course, tons of uncertainty. In this video, I'm going to cover what I'm doing right now, what I have been doing the past few days, and what I'm going to do. Something that I'm going to tell you about has caused me, and the 10 years of my crypto experience, to change the way I normally do things, to take a different approach. And I'm going to tell you guys all about that in this video. If that sounds good to you, make sure that you like this video, please. It helps, supports me. Make sure that you share it with your friends so they get the information, because I believe this is quite important. And make sure that you're subscribed if you're not already. I'm going to be covering this information on a daily basis, telling you what my strategy is, how I might adapt, because this is uncertain times and this knowledge is critical. So make sure you also smash the bell to get notifications, because it is time sensitive material. So let's talk about black swan events. What is a black swan event? A black swan event is when something unexpected happens that causes dramatic price change, usually or almost always in the downward trajectory, which we've seen now for the past few days. In fact, obviously we've been in a bear trend since January, and this has actually gotten much worse here. Let's go and check out the charts, and I'll show you how I'm looking at this compared to the March 2020 Black Swan event from the COVID announcement of a pandemic. And I will show you exactly what happened then compared to what's happening now, what happened to the markets then, and what I'm expecting to happen right now. And there is one critical piece of the puzzle that if this happens, it could mean amazing opportunities for you guys. And this is what I'm looking for. So let's go show you what that is. Okay, we started coming down here from this high point of $10,000 or more or less, all the way down, started getting a little recovery. And then this is the same situation we started seeing about a week ago, 10 days ago, where people expected something to happen. We knew that COVID was getting quite serious. And so here we had expectations of something negative really about to happen, the same kind of things. And I'll show you in the chart in a second that we saw the past 7 to 10 days or so as well. It's very, very similar. But then, of course, on the 12th, we saw this massive, massive sell-off as it was a global pandemic announcement. And we crashed all the way down to something like $36,000 or something like that. But as you can see, and this all happened in 1 day, guys. This is the daily chart. As you can see, though, if we zoom out, what happened after this? We started to recover pretty aggressively. And as we go on, boom, it just goes up and up and up. We had a massive rally all the way up to 65,000. And then we had a bit of a correction. And then it went all the way back up for another rally all the way to our all-time high of $69,000. And then we started to see the announcement that happened in January because what led this massive run-up was the Fed needed to step in after the COVID announcement and started printing massive amounts of money. And they were using it to buy up equities, buy up the stock market. And then it led to this massive run-up. But then inflation started to become real deal. And then they said, hey, we're going to do quantitative tightening. We're going to hike interest rates. And we got that news in January. And then we started to see the markets react and started to come down all the way down from essentially 45 all the way back down to 35K. And this is, I believe, max pain. We saw a bottom. And I think that this was supposed to be the bottom, really, when you look at what happened all the way from $70,000 at a 50% correction down to $35,000. And we started to see a nice recovery over here. People had gotten over the fact, and it was priced in the market by then, that we accepted that there was going to be this interest rate hike, and we started to see a nice recovery. Now, fast forward all the way till about 2 weeks ago, the first news that came out about this kind of conflict in Russia and Ukraine, and we started to see a little bit of a sell-off here, but then it seemed to de-escalate. And so there was some more momentum that came into the market, hiked up here. And then we started seeing it become real serious again. And we start to see this big sell-off. And this is the first date here, just on the 17th, where we saw it started getting really serious. And guys, then we came down, and of course, people expected this. It got priced in and priced in. And then if we didn't have the actual invasion, this is kind of the theory that started going on here when we started to see the correction. But then as of last night, we saw the bombs drop, and then today where we are right now. So what's going to happen right now? What are we looking at? So I believe that we started to see strong resistance right here at the $35,000 level. We start to see a lot of buy pressure in that area. People are planning on potentially it being the bottom. But what am I doing? Right now, it's super, super, super uncertain of what's going on. And do I think that we're at the bottom right now? Maybe. But this is crazy stuff. This is crazy stuff. We have actually bombs and missiles being dropped all over Ukraine. And we start to see all the NATO allies, including the United States, puffing up their shoulders, standing around the border. And so far, they've sworn to not come into Ukraine to defend Ukraine. And Biden has also said that he was not going to fight Russia. However, we don't really know what's going to happen. This could escalate dramatically. If it comes outside of Ukrainian borders, meaning that if somebody from the West provokes Russia, attacks Russia, gets in the way of what they're doing, it could very quickly escalate outside of Ukrainian borders, outside of Russian borders, to where it becomes essentially a world war. If that happens, I think that we haven't seen anything yet. I think that we could still go down another 40, 50% from here. So what am I doing? So over the past 3 days or so, I have been selling quite a bit of my altcoins, and anything that still was up quite a good profit still even after this correction. And I went into stable coins. Now, why am I doing this? I'm doing this because I want to be comfortable over the next couple of years in case we go into a multi-year bear market right now or a big recession. I also want to be in a position where if we do go 40% lower or whatever, that I've got some good ammunition to come in and buy extremely cheap Bitcoin, extremely good gaming projects, and be able to get into really good opportunities. So I protected myself in case we go into some really severe market conditions where I know that for the next 2 years or so, 3 years, like I'm good because I'm in a stable coin. We also know that I'm in a good position right now to buy anything if we go a lot further down. Now, what could cause a nice rebound right now? Well, if we look at the traditional markets too, the equity markets, Dow Jones, S&P 500, US stock markets, they're also in max pain right now. Again, but maybe they haven't seen anything yet. And unless we also know that the economy is in shambles from 19. We also know that businesses are out, people aren't going back to work, which means if you're not going to work, you're not going out and buying lunch, you're not supporting local businesses, you're not buying gas at the gas station, you're not getting chips at the liquor store, you're not getting coffee at Starbucks, et cetera, et cetera. So the entire economy is still actually decimated. And what I believe could very likely happen is we could see the Fed step in right now, because imagine if the United States was putting sanctions on Russia in order to cause them economic harm, but we were suffering, or the states were suffering severe economic harm. That would be kind of embarrassing. So I believe what could happen right now is the Fed could step in and reverse the decision to increase interest rates and use this event, what's going on right now, as an excuse to print more money and support the markets again. If that happens, we're going to see a similar type of pattern that we did after the March 2020 COVID Black Swan event. Could lead to a massive, massive rally. If you're watching my channel, you know that I am mostly, almost always, my portfolio personally, almost always in some type of altcoin or Bitcoin. At what point do I come in and start and decide that I feel bullish again, and I'm going to go in and buy back up some positions, even if they're slightly higher than they are today? One, I need to see some indication on a macro perspective that there's reason to be optimistic again. Right now, there's no reason to be optimistic. Like, there's none. We have massive uncertainty, pandemonium, poor economy, And it's looking really, really bleak right now. I don't mean to be super doom and gloom, but let's just face the fact of where we are right now. So what I want to see is I want to see macro bullish signals like Fed stepping in, money printing, or some other way that they decide to support the economy. Because if they don't, we're going to continue to see a decline in Wall Street, which means a decline in crypto, which means everybody's suffering and hurting. And this is going to be really, really terrible for Western economies, Western people. It will go into another recession, potentially even a Great Depression. I don't know if the US has the headspace to deal with something like that right now. They can easily kick the can down the road a bit longer, like they have been doing, printing money, supporting the markets. And this is what I'm going to look for to see a good time to enter again. Other than that, I'm just going to sit and wait and see. I don't. I think it's very dangerous and foolish to try to trade this market other than kind of the strategy I've outlined. I think that's you're crazy if you're longing or shorting or doing any type of leverage trading. And I think that it's really, really critical right now to stop, take a breath, relax, and be really, really logical and rational how you deal with this, because I'm sure that your emotions are heightened right now. I'm sure that there's a lot of fear and concern with your portfolio right now. It's not looking good. Nobody's portfolio is looking good right now. And that's just the state of where we're at right now. So another good strategy right now would be if you have stablecoin or fiat sitting on the side right now and you've been looking for an opportunity to buy in right now, another great opportunity would be dollar cost averaging. And if you missed my video from a couple of days ago, make sure you go check that out, because that is an amazing strategy and most likely much, much better than option one, which I just talked about. Dollar cost averaging into the market right now, in my opinion, would be a great strategy, because you could get it today at 35,000, or you might be able to get it tomorrow at 30,000 and next week for 25,000. And your average buy-in price is going to be very, very good. In fact, it would be much better than if you bought in today, for example. And timing the bottom is pretty much impossible. So guys, this is going to wrap up the video today. I'm sorry I don't have better news, but I wanted to be real with you about what I'm doing and the kind of thought processes that I've had on how to approach the current situation. It is very uncertain times. We haven't seen this before, and I've learned from different events in the past how I can approach these situations in different ways. I want to share my experience with you. I wanted to let you guys know what I'm doing so you can make your own decisions, how you want to play the market right now. Guys, make sure that you're subscribed if you're not already. Make sure you smash the bell notification icon so that you can get notified if my videos are new, as they are time sensitive, especially in these times. And I hope that you please, if you like my video, please like the video. And I will catch you tomorrow. See you, everybody.